Goosebumps every time. No matter how many times I see the fun gang sealing these stupid fountains, it always makes me feel genuinely glad to be playing this game. Not only are the visuals absolutely breathtaking for something made of pixels, the music is incredible, and also the story, themes, and humor are actually relatable.
Because there's a lot of emotion in this one.
Deltarune achieves what many games fail to do nowadays, and it does it well. It lets you build genuine connections with these dumb little characters, actually makes you laugh at jokes, which is rare in recent releases, and it makes, at least me, learn genuine life lessons, altering a tiny bit of my perception of life when not many pieces of modern media really do that. I love everything about this silly RPG, and I do enjoy talking about things that I love. So here I am. I'm a big advocate for positivity, though I do enjoy some angst and horror rather often, but anything that has to do with friendship, humor, hopes, and dreams is quick to become something of my interest. And through said interest, I'm sure some of you will appreciate my choice of soundtrack for when I said that! Oh, I'm so funny. Oh, God. Deltarune does a great job at using symbolisms and hidden meanings throughout the entire experience to strengthen the depths of its story. Not only through secret paths and hilarious bits, but by literally taking concepts and items that we as people are incredibly familiar with, and humanizing them to the point where you now view inanimate objects with more respect than before. This game had me looking at my TV differently. I know that does sound stupid, but as this game takes the concept of the trees can feel and hear and applies it to every single thing that exists, it kind of makes you want to be a little gentler in life. Perhaps I will put away spoons a bit more lightly after washing the dishes and not drop them into the dryer rack so harshly. Nah, okay, maybe I'm taking this too literally now.
But really, this game!
It's kind of ironic how a game about monsters and illusion somewhat teaches us how to be human in real life. It displays so much relatable situations, thoughts, and concepts, and does so through such human-like responses, reactions, and dialogue, with there only being one human character, which is arguably the least human-like of them all. And the rest are all, well, monsters. It's kind of poetic. Deltarune contains two worlds. The light world, reality, containing the light nurse, and the dark world, illusion, containing the dark nurse. The dark world is formed through dark fountains, portals of sorts created by the determination of one's soul, things that the soul wants and needs. The dark nurse are items from the real world that bring joy to the light nurse, which happen to be inside of the locations where the dark fountains were unleashed. Toby Fox never fails to impress me at how well thought out the Darkness are, how clever he is at using symbolism. Here are some of the most prominent ones. Chapter 1. Rule card quite literally represents the rules card. No one pays attention to it, it tries providing instructions and rules, but it is deemed rather useless despite being made for respecting. Jevil represents the Joker card, plays by their own rules but is often discarded from the game to make it more enjoyable and fair, as it is simply too powerful. King represents the King of Spades card, strives to rule over everything given that he is the strongest card in the deck, with the only other card stronger than him being the Ace and the Joker. The Joker is locked away, discarded from the game, and the Ace of Hearts, the player, overthrows the king. Chapter 2. Spamton represents spam emails overthrowing an inbox. Any dialogue with this guy is as if he was a million adverts thrown right at you with some uploaded malware. This guy is super confusing. Queen is a laptop, whose main objective is to give the light nurse limitless possibilities of fun, providing them with anything that they want, although she isn't the best at doing so. She does not fully understand human needs and emotions, just like AI in real life. Chapter 3. Tenna is obviously a TV, the one inside of Kris's living room, which wants to entertain its viewers and know that it is appreciated and needed, especially by Kris. He fears abandonment. And as entertainment is often seen as a distraction, it is also heavily implied that Tenna remembers all of the fights that Kris's parents had before, which not only builds on the lore aspect of the game, but personifies Tenna even more. And finally, Chapter 4. Jack and My point being, this game does such an incredible job at humanizing these characters. Not on a shallow level, but making them seem like actually alive beings with feelings and emotions, yet still reflecting the values of the objects that they are based off of through incredibly strong metaphors. Although, Deltarune also does an amazing job at making our three main protagonists feel incredibly relatable, which sometimes just makes us feel just great. Kris Dreamer is a human kid adopted into a monster family. Their brother, Azrael, who they seemingly deem as a role model, is off to college. Their parents, Toriel and Asgore, had split up, and Kris, being significantly different from their family, had always tried to fit in, which in the dark world we deem to be represented by Ralsei. In said world, Kris's outfit resembles a knight, which could once again represent wanting to be like and be liked by Asriel, as his favorite character in Super Smashing Fighters, a game they used to play together, is a sword magician. Kris's main theme is being accepted by others. We, the player, are represented by the soul that resides in Kris's body, using them as a vessel, which is how we are able to interact with the world. The soul itself is a symbol for determination, but with time, it is clearly shown that we do not belong in Kris. We are rejected, unwelcome, but yet still willingly put back to take control time and time again. It was never explained why we are in Kris's body, why they have such a hatred towards us, and who that creepy voice is in Kris's phone. The color scheme in Kris's Dark World appearance could also arguably have a significance. Either 1, blue signifies the cold, showing how Kris on their own are a rather cold person, and the bright pink cape could symbolize the soul, us, the player, hanging onto them and being something warmer, with more compassion. Or it is just another piece of clothing with the purpose of making themselves more similar to their family. Ralsei is incredibly similar to Asriel and wears a pink scarf. Or 2. The colors are used to represent the soul types we know from Undertale, with cyan being patience, blue being integrity, pink being perseverance, and of course, red being determination. The remaining 3 are orange for bravery, yellow for justice, and green for kindness. Do with those what you will. I'd imagine Susie would follow a similar theme, and that too would make sense. These soul types could also, more simply put, relate to the colors of the triangles on the Deltarune symbol in Kris's room in the Dark World. Perseverance for Susie, kindness for Ralsei, and patience for Kris. Unless it would be integrity. It's quite hard to tell. Going off of the prophecy's image used for Kris in Chapter 4, it could be that the integrity is rather insincere, and determination, the player, is the real hero trapped inside, in a cage. Or that Kris is patient enough to let them stay in control while in the Dark World. God, games are so complicated nowadays! But I love them for it. There is a lot of emotional topics explored through the characters' issues, relationships, and self-image, which are often touched upon in the Dark World to help them overcome personal challenges and grow as people, which is exceptionally heavily explored through Susie in every chapter. In Chapter 1, Susie makes a start upon finally making friends. In Chapter 2, she accepts more affection and learns to be much more gentle, finally letting herself feel and quit being nonchalant. In Chapter 3, she begins to seek the good out in people, just like others seeked good in her, opening up to Tenna and trying to see if he's a good guy. And in Chapter 4, she fully overcomes her previous pains and struggles and shows pride of her new self and purpose, completely confirming her growth, showing that she now wants to be a hero, stepping away entirely from her evil demeanor from Chapter 1, showing huge character development and emotional maturity. Each of these characters showcase a different type of issue that we can perhaps all relate to. Kris shows the want to fit in and be accepted by others. Susie shows the want to fit in and be accepted by others. Ralsei shows the want to fit in and be accepted by others. Tenna okay, what the hell? But maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what makes us human. Acceptance. Accepting each other, no matter how different we all are. How different our experiences have been. How we look, how we talk, how we care, what we like, what we dislike. No matter who we are. Acceptance is what makes us human, what makes us moral, keeps us ethical, and I feel like the world could learn a lot about that just from this funny little game, especially nowadays. If they cared enough for that, that is. Also, the soundtrack is a f***ing banger, dude, listen to...
And also...
I will sing this as a lullaby to my future kids. But what's a good game without good humor? Not Deltarune. Amongst the emotion, relatability, the music, the visuals, I'm also due a lot of respect to Toby for his unique sense of humor that's incorporated into this universe. Call it cringe, call it weird, but this game genuinely made me cackle countless times. And due to that, the community has also been infected with this strange absurdness that makes it honestly feel like one huge family. The inside jokes, the memes, the everything. During the 4 years of waiting for Chapter 3 and 4 to release, the fandom never died off. It even continued to grow. And as a result, it made the wait for the game to further release actually enjoyable. The community took matters into their own hands and entertained themselves with stupid shit so that the hype for the game never died down. They started to create memes, make art, search for secrets, and most importantly, kept the conversation going. And now that the game had released, the excitement for it arriving was even bigger than what it was when Chapter 2 left us on a cliffhanger. With Deltarune tomorrow becoming literal, there was once again a reason to be glad to have gotten ourselves into this game. To have let it connect so many people from around the world over just being an unexplainably immaculate piece of media. Despite it otherwise being a mainly unserious, witty RPG made to brighten our days, it is also amazingly good at deepening our thoughts and perspectives on being human. There is comedy, there is tragedy, there is joy and there's pain, light and dark, love and hate, future and past, reality and illusion. Perhaps humanity's greatest features can be found within a small, insignificant part of life, within concepts where you least expect a life lesson to originate from. Let's not forget that video games, especially RPGs, are made to tell a story, and for hundreds of years, stories were created in order to evoke emotion, to educate, to expand the mind. And even through silly concepts, that can still very much be achieved. And Deltarune is a clear example of that. And that in itself is a significant point made. But let me get even more obscure. The idea alone of Kris and the soul being separate, truly like the vessel and the player, when you think about it very deeply, it's the same in real life. You are you, a soul. Mind, whatever you want to call it. You can speak to oneself and control what one does, yet you have to express your thoughts through words the body says, actions the body does. It is the body that the world and people outside see and perceive, not the soul itself, yet the soul fights and acts from within. Never mind. Too philosophical. Anyway, that's me done with my nerdy and overly emotional ramble about this game. I read too much absurdist media to not become moved by, well, absurd concepts. For some, this is silly. For me, everything can be silly. So it works out. Thanks for not clicking away. You're the best. Also, this texture almost perfectly depicts how the back of my eyelids look like when I'm trying to sleep. Okay, yeah, I'll stop.